Cross that line later.
All right, hello. Welcome everybody to another conversation time. You know how it is. Give us just a second. Make that a little bit bigger. You need to hide that part. No, other one. No. There you go. Give me just a second here. Get my life together. All right. You know the deal. If you are in here with us, let us know. Say hello, talk to us. It is called conversation time for a reason. Wow. All right. What we got?
Weekly update. You got a new haircut.
I did. Chopped it all off. He was not entirely happy.
Because I've gotten used to the long hair for the last 8 years.
It's not been 8 years. It's been about 5 because I grew it out for the wedding.
7 or so.
I'll give you 6.
6 and a half,
roughly. It was time for a change. I've been saying I wanted to cut it, and it's just, we're getting ready to go on vacation, and I'm not going with long hair so I can sweat. It's not happening. Sorry, not sorry.
You know what they say when women start cutting hair off, they're about to make life changes.
Maybe I am. Maybe they're for the better.
Oh, okay.
You never know.
All right,
I need to make some life changes anyway. Need to better myself. I actually took time to put on makeup and look decent.
Yeah, you look cute.
Thanks, babe. That's a feat in and of itself. You usually just slap it up in a ponytail and call it a day. But anyhow, that's beyond the point. Let's see. What else we've got? Got some movies and entertainment.
What's happened the last couple of weeks?
It's been a slow couple of weeks. It's not been...
on our end, not too much has gone on. I gotta check the calendar and see what's been going on. Not too much on our end. Like we said, getting ready. I've been in vacation mode for the last month.
Yeah, I'm ready. I can tell you that. I see a few people trickling in here. Say hi. Let us know you're in here.
You gotta pull it up on your end.
I don't know how none of that works.
Yeah, a lot of new movies are coming through this weekend. I think the biggest that's been talked about this week is the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer. That's got people excited. What they calling it?
Barbenheimer, I think, is essentially the term that they've coined for it this weekend. They've been talking about these movies for the last few months. Oppenheimer has had pretty decent exposure in marketing towards it. So, and Barbie, of course, the same thing. Anybody, usually, I know you're not going, but most millennials are going to go for anything that has a 90s feel to it.
But they're just talking about the amount of promotion that's been going into this Barbie movie. This might have more than Endgame had on it.
What do you mean?
In terms of promotion, have you seen everybody's getting behind the bandwagon? Just a lot of guerrilla marketing out there.
Yeah.
Commercials, putting it in there. I saw an insurance company it was Progressive. They had reference to the Barbie movie.
You got to think though too that the audience that Barbie brings to begin with, and she's taken it back. And Margot Robbie, who's playing Barbie herself, has been going to all these premieres, and she's been dressing in the traditional. Or not traditional, the classic Barbie outfits that you've seen throughout the years, like the 1940s Barbie and the 50s and stuff. Down to the point to where she's having her mannerisms and whatnot too.
Yeah, I'm not familiar at all with Barbie, so
I'm
not sure.
Nobody expected you to grow up with Barbie.
I'm not too pressed on the Barbie movie. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're not going to see Barbie?" I'm like, "Nah." Oppenheimer, yeah, I'm definitely going to go see that. Christopher Nolan. I'm already familiar with his work. Batman. He did the new Batman franchise with
the Joker or the
no
Robert Pattinson.
No, absolutely not.
You said the new Batman.
The Dark Knight Batman.
That's not new.
That's new in my book.
No.
That's the one that I'm been familiar with. But we saw Mission Impossible 2 weeks ago.
That was good.
I really enjoyed that. We actually got a review on our YouTube channel, so if y'all want to go check out that review before y'all go see it. I mean, I enjoyed it. And like you said, it was your first time going to see any Mission Impossible films. So
don't hate me. I've just never been a huge Tom Cruise fan.
Watched that god-awful Bird Box Barcelona the other day. And any of y'all that are familiar with the Bird Box with, I'm drawing a blank. What was
Sandra
her name? Yeah,
Bullock.
Sandra
How
Bullock.
dare you?
So many names. Yeah,
Oh,
Sandra
my
Bullock
goodness.
that came out a few years back. Yeah, this one just didn't live up to the hype at all.
No, not at all.
So, yeah, we got that recap in there also. Y'all go check it out. I'll just spare you the disappointment. Just go ahead and just watch the recap so y'all don't have to worry about having to watch it yourselves because it's about an hour and a half long.
I didn't even make it
But
through
I'll never
it.
get back my life for that amount of time.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, Braden.
I feel like you're watching us. Hi, buddy. I hope you're being better than what you were earlier, sir.
Don't put my son on blast.
If
like
he
that.
was fussy, he was fussy. Look, he shouldn't have gone to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, they do that. Kids got them on their own. That new Jamie Foxx movie just came out on Netflix also.
that'd be
They
good.
cloned Tyrone. I'm not too sure what the premise is overall, but yeah, I saw him promote it when he came out of the hospital. It was funny because people were like, oh, because like they saw him out in public. They're like, that's not Jamie Foxx. Like that's a whole clone. And Jamie was like, nah, they didn't clone me, but he used that as a plug-in for the new movie.
Well, I mean, dang. That's the premise of it. You might as well. And speaking of which, just on a side note, that whole situation was just very hush-hush after, like, a couple of weeks. Like, we don't know if he's made a full recovery. We don't know,
he was out playing pickleball and hanging out and doing stuff, so.
I guess. I mean, that don't necessarily mean anything, but, I guess, good that he's doing better and made a recovery, but still, I would have liked to have known something.
But I'm going to check out that movie. Obviously, the Hijack and Swagger on Apple TV, which we've been talking about all week. Shows are still going well. I'm enjoying those. And then also The Crowded Room with Tom Holland. That was a sleeper for me. I checked it out. I caught up. I think I binged it in like 2 days.
It was something to it, something close.
So yeah, if y'all are looking for anything worthwhile watching right now, check those out. If y'all got any other suggestions for films that are out, movies, TV shows.
Well, and then we started watching too. Batil had said something about that, The Truth Be Told, which is also on Apple. So Apple's doing pretty good with some shows right now with Octavia Spencer, Mekhi Phifer, and a couple of other big names in there.
Aaron Paul. He's going to leave Aaron Paul out?
I couldn't remember his name.
That's crazy.
Couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, I hope they're doing something because, the writer's strike is going strong in full force. That's the big thing that's been happening in Hollywood right now. The Actors Union is actually joining the writers that are on strike and it has shut Hollywood down. They said that the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists Union, has gone on strike with the writers. So now we have on one side the people from the writing side, along with the actors. So Hollywood's really in a bind right now. Negotiations are still failing. The motion picture and television producers mean that TV and film productions will come to an immediate halt, initially shutting down Hollywood. And it's said that this type of strike hasn't happened since the 1960s. So if you can think about that. And obviously the writers and the actors want what just about everybody in America wants right now. They want fair working wages. They want to be able to actually get royalties on some of their writing credits that they're getting.
Which, all honesty, is not a hard ask. Like, it's not, like far out there that you should be paid for what you're worth.
I mean, it sounds good.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I didn't say it was going to happen. I said it's not far-fetched.
So during the strike, actors will not be permitted to promote past products through conventions, interviews, or panels. This includes any Emmy Award campaigning. Nominations for the annual award show were announced on Wednesday, and the ceremony is set to take place September 18th on Fox. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting time going forward, just seeing what's going to happen with these actors, with these writers, and what Hollywood will do. I think it's going to come down to the crunch time. I think once we really start getting back into the season where we have these writers and we have these TV shows that we look forward to, we're just going to be stuck watching reruns again. There was a time this happened a few years back also. I think just one side went on strike, so we didn't really have to necessarily worry about the whole industry coming down. But yeah, prepare yourselves for having to watch reruns. We're not going to get any new shows written anytime soon. And then by the time they come out of the strike, it's going to take a while for them to get back into production. So,
at least you have a lot to binge.
I guess, but some shows like I'm still waiting on 911.
Yeah, I know. Well, now they're talking like there's some of these they're saying they're not going to come back until like fall of next year and stuff like that. I think that's just speculation, not necessarily the truth, but I hope not.
So yeah, we'll see what comes from it, but yeah, I'll stay updated and I'll keep y'all abreast to the situation. And what else we got that's gone down? Oh, man.
I'm so sad.
How does Shein get hit with a RICO?
I don't know. I have nothing to do
So
with that.
last week, the fast fashion retailer Shein was named in a RICO. For anybody that's not aware of what a RICO is, it is a Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization Act. You probably heard of it with some like mobsters back in the day, like Al Capone's organization. They were big for RICOs. Yes, the company that's been selling tweens and young adults cheap clothing is being hit with the same type of lawsuit that government used to take down organized criminal enterprises. And hearing those two things in the same sentence synonymously is kind of funny. And a lot of people were like, "How did they get hit with a RICO?" They thought like, what were they smuggling illegal contraband within the clothes? But so following the news, many people had the same question, like we said, like we did. How can a clothing brand be hit with a RICO? In the lawsuit filed by designer Christy Perry, Larissa Martinez, and Jay Barron accused Shein of producing, distributing, and selling exact copies of their creative works. I gotta excuse us. We're playing with the new camera system here, so it automatically adjusts to our conversation. So that's why it keeps flickering on and off. So yeah, it was like, I'm playing with this tonight. So I mean, it's cool, but we'll get used to it. But like I was saying, the RICO comes into play because the plaintiffs accused the infringements are made by a de facto association of entities, which means that pretty much Shein is the umbrella. So it's making the clothes, it's distributing it, it's doing the marketing, it's doing the promotion. So it's a full vertical enterprise organization from the beginning, from when they're coming up with the designs to coming to the door of the customers. So it means that they knowingly committed criminal copyright infringement, and it played its role with full knowledge of the overarching criminal copyright infringement it participates in.
Copyright on what?
On the clothes. So they were basically like had these designers. So they would go in, look at the designers, whether the designers were coming to them, giving them ideas, and they were just ripping the clothes off, not crediting the designers that were coming out with the products.
Dang.
And they knew about it the whole time, and since they're part of that vertical integration, they were aware of it at every step.
Yeah.
And everything's under one umbrella. And traditionally, if you have a business and something like this happens, then you can sue one company. But since they have the manufacturing of it, the promotion of it,
the whole company,
they're aware of it all the way through as they're doing this. So every channel as they're going through is like, all right, we know we ripped off this person here. We know we ripped off Jay Barron at the initial state all the way to the time it got brought to the door. So that's how these RICOs happen. Similar to how these criminal organizations work.
Okay.
If you have somebody that's buying the drugs, that's distributing the drugs, they're promoting the drugs, they know, hey, these are drugs. It's part of the same umbrella. It's getting distributed the same way. So that's how Shein got hit with the RICO.
So are we accomplices?
And I said that at one point. I was like, anybody that's purchasing from Shein could essentially be called out for the RICO case. Katie Beth's on here. I mean, she can speak more to that. I'm not a lawyer. I just researched the information and just distribute it back to you all. But I mean, essentially, I guess it would work in the same way if someone's knowingly buying illegal merchandise or illicit drugs. I mean, they could be called in. But I think that the pipeline stretches so far because think of how many people are on this fast fashion wave just buying clothes from Shein.
Because it's so much easier. But it's just, I mean, I guess it's time to switch to Temu.
Man, Temu is just another name for Shein. I've been telling people. I said Shein revamped themselves and came out as Temu, and
that's fine. They haven't gotten hit with a RICO charge yet.
That's been my running joke. But I mean, it's funny to see. It's interesting.
I mean, it did get fairly popular around the same time, and then you get a week later, however long it was, and you see that Shein gets this RICO charge. It's a little weird, but you know, we got to have something. Fashion Nova will be next. Watch.
But anytime people are doing anything with this fast fashion, I mean, we saw it before the pandemic. I don't think Shein got popular until, I think, did Beyonce mention it on the song, the Fashion Nova or something? But there's so many of these fast fashion because we know how quick trends come up and trends change. So to be able to capitalize on fast fashion is only right at this stage in the game. So we'll see how this plays out. But I mean, I'm here for it. RICO.
Okay. I like it. I'm sorry. It's not going to stop me until they say the site's shut down.
Yeah, I know. Because every time I look up, you're getting something from Shein or Amazon delivered to the door. And I'm like, again?
You just ordered some stuff off Amazon, too.
I mean, that's different, though. Like,
and I help your stuff.
I do it sporadically. You do it habitually.
It is not habitually. I can't afford for it to be habitually. I wish. Exactly. I wish I could. I know.
Speaking of money, the Powerball. Powerball has had a run this month, this year. A single Powerball ticket actually sold in Los Angeles. They matched all 6 of the numbers for $1.8 billion.
They won?
Jackpot. Yeah, somebody won.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't see that. Okay.
Some lady was on one of the social media sites. I saw it on Twitter earlier, just talking about that she had the winning ticket. I don't know how factual that is, but ticket did get sold. The Powerball, and you can even look at the billboards.
Well, I hadn't paid attention to the billboard.
Yeah, they've dropped the cash prize down from 1.8 billion down to about 20 million dollars now.
I'd still be all right with 20 million.
Yeah. But she matched all 6 numbers.
Nuts.
So the owner of the 1.8 billion winning ticket in Wednesday's night's power drawing ball. It was sold at a convenience store in Los Angeles. They said the person has not yet to claim it yet. I don't know.
And she didn't win.
I don't know. The winning numbers were 7, 13, 10, 24, 11, and the Powerball was 24. It's crazy because I had 24 right there. I had one of the numbers. I could have got like $2.
No, you've been talking about you were going to play, and you haven't done anything.
It's hard for me to pull myself because
not when it's 1.8 billion.
All right, so the lottery ticket holder will have a chance between an annual prize payout and installments over 29 years of the 1.8 billion or the lump sum payment of 558.1 million. That's not too bad.
500 million in taxes.
I mean, you got to think right off bat, they're going to hit you for about 30% or so.
Good Lord.
And then you got your state tax, your federal income tax. I mean, people were saying that also, just like the federal government's getting paid not to do anything. They just sit back and then they collect this large tax bill. But this is America. You know how that goes.
I mean, still, don't get me wrong. 558 is still a lot of money, but it's half of your money.
Yeah. But Wednesday's prize ranks as the 6th largest U.S. lottery jackpot and the 3rd largest power jackpot behind the world record of $2.4 billion. That was last year.
Yeah.
Once again, in California. So the thing is, it doesn't even make sense playing these large jackpots in any other state because California keeps winning.
Yeah, well, the big one.
It's gotta be something going on. Like I want to see somebody in like Rhode Island or just some random state, New Hampshire win. I'll take like a North Dakota or Iowa or something. Like I like to see, potato farmer in Iowa wins the Powerball. Like California, what do you want?
Sorry, I have my brace. Oh. Thank you. So sorry.
But so everybody that thought they had the winning ticket for this go round, you can stop looking because someone out in California won it once again.
Try it again.
Nah, they're done. We got to switch hustles up. We got to do something else. I'm going to start playing bingo at the hall.
Look, I've heard that can be deadly. You better not. People don't play about that bingo.
In other news, something else that took us by headlines this week, Carlee Russel. Like, I didn't know anything about her situation until it got to like the tail end. So anybody that's not aware of who Carlee Russel is, I'm about to say was, like she's no longer here. No, she's here.
She's here.
She's a nursing student from Hoover, Alabama. She went missing on July 13th for 2 days.
She went missing.
After that, it was revealed by police as a phone call to 911 about an unaccompanied male toddler on the side of I-459 interstate. Family members quickly sprung into action after her disappearance, handing out missing persons leaflets, coordinating volunteer lead searches, and looking for her in the area where she was last seen. They also spread word on social media, obviously, because anything that happens in the world, that's the first place we run to. Pleading with users for clues about her whereabouts as Alabama police begin their investigation. But things quickly turned sour for the family as conspiracy theories soon began to flood the internet about their daughter's disappearance. She resurfaced banging on her parents' door at about 12:45 p.m. on Saturday night, 2 days after her initial disappearance. Her parents explained to the Today Show that her daughter was in a bad way after having to fight for her life. They also said that some mental health issues had arisen there as well. At a press conference, the Hoover police said that they were weary of believing Miss Russell's testimony after they couldn't verify the majority of her initial testimony, and also, once again, saying about her mental state. So it's unclear whether she'll be charged for this or not, because they say it's looking real Jussie Smollett
very. So, because here's the whole thing too, and I read another article, and I don't remember where it was from, but it kind of highlighted the points of the press conference that they had describing everything that happened. So they said that she had stopped, and again, I'm sorry if I might get it wrong, correct me, please. I don't want to say something that's not true. They say that she supposedly stole snacks from Target, and that, like, you know, literally they described like Cheez-Its and whatnot, crackers or something like that. And then she was also Googling things such as, how old do you have to be reported on an Amber Alert? At what time frame can you issue an Amber Alert? And then she was Googling and up the movie Taken with Liam Neeson. If you know that movie, it's about his family being kidnapped, right, in Europe, and he has to go and try to find them, and just different things like that. So it's kind of not looking good for her. And she also. Again, this is the part where I'm confusing it. Either she had Googled it or she had been reported that she stole money from a cash register. Yeah. I think she Googled it.
So she did steal money from a cash register. Okay. She also brought snacks, and then she had also Googled about the Amber Alert. She also Googled about how to fake a kidnapping or some other things in there as well, which, I mean, like you said, it doesn't look good. It's not a good look.
And then she supposedly walked home from wherever she was.
But once again, the internet is going to humble you quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in these situations, I think people's natural reaction is to have a sense of concern and sympathy. But then once the lies come out, you know how cruel.
It's hard.
The manufacturing of memes. People must keep memes.
Just handy.
Meme templates in their back pocket.
We know a few of them.
Yeah, true.
Who just take them and make
like, because like as soon as something comes out that's not real, like people were on it.
Quick to it.
Memes started flooding sites. They called her Jussie Smollett, Carlee Smollett,
saying she's on a pro with Tukin.
Yeah. She's on a new Taken movie poster called Tukin.
Tukin.
So regardless of what the situation is, just hope that she can get whatever help she needs, because. Yeah, that's a rough situation. Well, and then so there wasn't a toddler, because people were like, nobody saw a toddler.
And that's the thing, is that people are like, there's nobody else on this highway, which I would imagine would be fairly busy, who saw this toddler. And then also too, people are posting, because there's always things nowadays that are supposed to distract you so you can be kidnapped. Saying if you see a stroller or something sitting on the side of the road, you really just need to leave it, because it could be a ploy to get you to come out and look at it. And then you actually would be kidnapped. So, it's just, there's so many missing holes, or so many holes in this story. There's even again, this is just hearsay, people talking, how they do, that she was upset she had a fight with her boyfriend because he cheated on her with an exotic dancer. I don't know how true it is. It could be people just talking. Again, like you said, I hope she gets the help that she needs. But, even though it was just 2 days, it's still a lot of effort and time for people to have wasted if it's not true.
Definitely. But, I mean, I guess we'll follow up with the story. I think this is far from over because, like we said, because some stuff you just can't do. Like, you can't fake a kidnapping. You can't go on a plane and say certain words. Like, you just can't do certain things.
Or claim that you see something.
Yeah, without having some type of repercussions. So, I mean, yeah, they're definitely gonna circle this back and give us some follow-up information because, I mean, anytime you have a large police presence, you have to understand what's going on because that's tax dollars being put at work. That's manpower being put on the road when real life situations are occurring. So, yeah, we'll come back and see what happens with that. We'll follow up with some of these responses here. Yeah, lottery is all rigged.
Indeed.
Yeah, the system is designed to keep the rich richer and the poor poor. I mean, that idea that you can win something for a little bit of nothing is always going to be a motivating factor in any sense. Because nobody's thinking about playing the lottery at 20 million, but you throw a few more zeros behind that, then you're talking about billions, and then everyone's like, hey, I think I can stand a chance. And then we start having we start speculating what we can do with that money ahead of time. Like I put a post up on the Facebook, just like what's the most ignorant thing you would buy if you won the lottery? Just to hear people's responses. I mean, because it's fun to sit around and fantasize about what you would do.
Probably never gonna happen.
Yeah, if you had that kind of money. Some people were like, "Oh, I'd buy a zebra." I said personally, mine was a zebra. You said a tiger.
A lot of y'all are buying some exotic animals.
Yeah, I mean, and that's cool. I feel y'all on that. Other people had more like tangible things they would do. So a couple of people said, "Hey, I'd take that money. I'd buy a plot of land and put my family on it, grow some crops." I'm like, yeah,
but that's not ignorant. That's smart.
But I appreciate the admiration for being fiscally responsible with the money because. One of my Facebook friends said that she would buy up the company she used to work with, go in there and fire everybody. I'm like, that's pretty ignorant. She was like, yeah, you're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
No, she said it was her uncle that was doing it.
No. That was somebody else.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
So a lot of people said that they get some petty get back if they won the money. So maybe it's kind of good that certain people don't win a few $1 billion, a few $100 million or whatever. Because I got some petty Facebook friends. So speaking of petty, Jason Aldean.
Come on now.
Country music star Jason Aldean is facing immense backlash over his new music video, Try That in a Small Town. So I heard this actually on the news yesterday, and it threw me off guard because I was like, the country singer, what's he in hot water for? So I actually had to go in, had to listen to the music video, have to get some context on it. Basically, he's catching backlash. His new music video, Try That in a Small Town, which they said had actually initially came out back in May. So that it combines news footage of Black Lives Matter protests, violence, and crime with lyrics such as "Try that in a small town. See how far you might get. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. Got a gun that my granddaddy gave me. Blase, blase, blase." Y'all can listen to it. I'm not going to sit here and carpool karaoke it right now. But so he was catching slack. One of which it said that he was enticing violence. Another which said that it was being racist in the overall film by using these depictions of the Black Lives Matter protests during a time where it was unjust in the country. And then I think the third biggest reason was about the location that he used for the overall shoot was actually, was it a courthouse?
It's some courthouse in Tennessee, and it's known to have had race riots and then also a lynching of a young black man back in the 40s. Now, again, let's say this before we get into this. These are our opinions. Don't mean they're right. Don't mean they're wrong. It's an opinion. Everybody's got one. The location is not great. Other than that, I don't see anything racist on this. He didn't say anything racist. Yeah, it's going to depict violence because you're showing what happened during the riots. Looting and throwing and people spitting in cops' faces and cops doing this, that, and the other. Like, it's bad on both sides. But I think people tend to want to take things and run like they normally do. Because he says, I think the main lyric that people are getting hung up on is it says something good old boys. He did not say proud boys. He didn't say anything of that nature. He's not taking one side or the other. And he made a statement himself, like trying to not even necessarily defend it, just saying that you guys essentially took this thing and ran with it for no reason.
So a channel that's devoted to country music has pulled the video along with a few other stations as well. I went on YouTube. You know, YouTube's not pulling nothing unless they get court ordered and say pull it. The video's running up views right now. Yeah. Just people going on there, just seeing what's going on, what is he talking about. Like you said, I mean, I watched it. I mean, my initial watch, I wasn't like, oh, this is racist. Turn this off. No. I mean, he had white rioters in there, yes. white protesters as well.
Actually, the majority of them were white rioters.
Me personally, I mean, if we're going to say, try this in a small town, you could have put a little news clip from the Capitol riots. Because, I mean, you could have evened out the playing field and, you might have had some talking points. But also, like you said, I mean, it could be the time of the month, the time of the year, people always look for somebody to use as an scapegoat. Me personally, like I said, I didn't see anything wrong with the song. It's country music. Music is also supposed to be subjective. It's supposed to create conversation, dialogue.
Mm-hmm. And it is.
I think he's definitely doing that right now. Clearly, the Republican Party is taking this. They're backing it 100%. Yeah. Boy DT, he went on there talking about...
Which does not help the situation.
Yeah, talking about, hey, he came up with a great song and he enjoys it. So he'll probably be using this in one of his campaigns here
Donald,
soon.
Just sit down.
Yeah, I'm sure, but... so the song and the video have been attacked not only by the NAACP officials, Democratic lawmakers, and countless people on social media, but also by some in the country music scene. Sheryl Crow actually went on there and said, even people in small towns are sick of violence. There's nothing small town or American about promoting violence. She said, you should know that better than anyone having survived a mass shooting. So, I mean, it is dividing people right down the middle. People on one side have an issue with it. I mean,
but at the same time too, what are you more mad about? The fact that he's broadcasted it or what? Because I mean, this is what happened, and man, none of this stuff was made up. All this is news clips, and that's what he said in his statement too. Like, I didn't make any of these scenes up. This came from news clips that have been shown around the world during various times. This is what happened, and honestly, the premise of the song is the truth. You go to a small town, they're not going to let this stuff happen there. Yeah. They're going to defend their town, and that's not really anything that you should be mad about. But I mean, like I said, people are going to make something out of nothing every day. So
CMT confirmed to the Post that it has stopped airing the music video, which Billboard reported was getting heavy play on the channel, which I can imagine because
he's one of the top country people right now.
We got a lot of gun-toting Americans that are going to definitely back it, but I see both sides of the quarter. I mean, I wouldn't sit here and say, oh, I'm a Jason Aldean fan, but I mean, I understand music. I understand what the message is supposed to invoke. Mm-hmm. And then also on the other side, I do understand that we do have a big issue in the country with violence. So, I mean, it can go both ways.
It could.
Because, I mean, if we're going to get upset with this, we got to get upset with all this other music that's on the radio that's blatantly just saying about how they're going to commit crimes and do violence. So... But y'all let us know how y'all feel, what your thoughts are. Have you listened to the song? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you think about it? Do you think he was wrong for putting the song out? Do you think the radio stations and CMT are wrong for taking it off, or do you feel like, hey,
it is what it is?
It is what it is. I mean,
it's a song. Yeah.
And then in other news, like this is what I feel like should have had the most. Just broadcast is Florida. Like,
I think people tend to leave Florida alone.
Florida at this point, this is my personal feelings. I don't care.
They can go ahead and
Florida needs to just break off and just become an island at this point.
There's a word for it, and I can't think of the name.
Succeed.
Succeed. Yes, thank you. Succeed.
It's like every week, like Florida's doing something just goofy. The governor DeSantis? What is
who is running for president?
Yeah, let me tell y'all now, if y'all vote this guy into office, like Damien ain't on here, I'm gonna have to tell him and Batia, like, go ahead and just find us a place over in Sweden. I gotta get out of here because the other guy, I mean,
we're really it's looking like the lesser of two evils again, and that didn't work out in our favor the last time.
Y'all know me. I don't like to get on here and talk about my political beliefs and whatnot. But this guy's just weird, goofy, just about to set us back, literally. So Florida's new standards teach students that some black people benefit from slavery because it taught useful skills.
Come on now.
You're telling me that slavery in America was beneficial to the slaves because it gave us a skill set that we could use at this point in life. So lynching, raping, stripping people from their homelands and culture.
Of their decent human rights.
Making them be forced to work in inhuman conditions was beneficial because it gave us useful skill sets.
Look, people are going to say anything.
Florida, y'all stupid. Florida's public schools will now teach students that some black people benefited from slavery because it taught them useful skills, part of a new African-American history standards approved Wednesday that were blasted by a state teachers union as a step backwards. Step backwards. This is putting us back on the plantation. So next thing you know, they're probably gonna be like, hey, let's just reenact the slavery.
If he's got his way with it, he might.
So Florida State Board of Educators' new standard includes controversial language about how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit, according to a 216-page document about the state's 2023 standards in social studies posted by the Florida Department of Education. Again, I say Florida, y'all are dumb down there. Whoever's on these boards, y'all not the smartest. I don't think y'all should be working in the educational department. I think maybe we should put them in the position that the slaves were in and let them see how beneficial and useful it was.
Now tell me what you learned.
Do like a mock slave day and let the people that are putting this stuff out there go out in these conditions.
Please watch. It's going to happen. It will happen. I promise you.
Like, who's sitting here making these up and who's passing these instances? It said other language that has drawn ear of some educators and education advocates include teaching about how black people were also perpetrators of violence during race massacres.
So are we starting a race war? Is that what we're trying to do?
So they basically want to wipe away anything that had to do talking about slavery, talking about real American history. They want to.
Well, nobody wants to learn about the trials.
The beautification of slavery. And I think this is going to start happening across history books across the U.S. If they get a foothold with this, we're not going to really know. Well, we'll know.
Well, yeah.
And it's going to be up to parents to really educate their children because, and we have this conversation often, like, what school systems do you put your children in at this point? Because they're teaching them inaccurate history. And if they get them at a young age, it's just going to be indoctrinated into them. And it's like, oh no, slavery was okay because it gave us beneficial skills. Like, what skill sets did the slaves pick up that we're utilizing right now? Because I can tell you, they ain't had no computers back then. They weren't sitting on here typing and doing nothing. So manual skilled labor, I need to know.
I would assume that's what it is. But I think, like you said, it's up to the parents because obviously the schools are not going to teach it. It's up to the parents to teach what really happened in history.
Even on top of that, it has to be up to the parents to say, hey, we don't want this nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're going to teach history, then
teach it for what it is.
There's no sense in trying to pull a veil over someone's eyes and make history seem what it's not. Same way, like when I was growing up in school, it was like, all right, it's Thanksgiving.
I was about to say, yeah.
Thanksgiving was described as a feast amongst friends. They came over and brought blankets and they had a wonderful food. And, they brought over and gave them land. Who's just giving up their land just to give up their land? It's like, that doesn't even make sense. And like, as I was going to discuss, like, that doesn't sound right to me. Like, you got all this land over here and you're just going to give it to somebody you don't even know? And y'all had a feast and then they just, marginalized you and just took all your stuff. So.
And they said, yes, here, have some corn.
We got to do better. Yeah. Until we can, really take steps further and really get to a point where we can heal from issues and traumas, we have to be able to address what really happens and goes on in life. Because, they're living. Just because Disney's in Florida don't mean y'all got to live in a delusion. You ain't got to live in a fairy tale.
But the thing is, though, too, you have to also admit that it was an issue and it was a problem in America before you can even address it. And a lot of people don't want to admit that. So, and if you're essentially trying to erase history, clearly you don't want to admit that it was a part of it in the first place. So, it's just kind of, this was a blemish on history. It was a very bad time that lasted, well, it shouldn't have even lasted in the first place.
Yeah, but the thing is, it shouldn't even say a blemish. We shouldn't have a blemish. We shouldn't have an asterisk. Like, you got to tell the story of the ugliness of America.
Of how it came to be.
To understand, like, hey, this was not a good time at all. This is what happened. This is how we became what we are now, instead of sitting here saying, oh, yeah, we gave them skill sets so that they could prosper later in life. Because if you look at it, African Americans ain't too much prospering here in America based off what stems from slavery. So if y'all really want to keep it 100, let's call it for what it is. Call a spade a spade. Yeah. Instead of sitting here saying, oh yeah, because even after slavery was over, everything that happened with civil rights, even when they're sitting here talking about these massacres that occurred, we try to make a little progress in life for that just to get torn down. So
you can't have your cake and eat it too.
That's my soapbox for today. Florida, do better.
Or leave. We got a Disneyland in California. Y'all can go on.
Yeah, just
it's the same people.
But on a brighter note of things, Florida, y'all done got me hot, and it's already hot outside. Y'all got my blood pressure rising with this foolishness. I'm gonna talk about some cryptocurrencies.
Already, you got it.
Yeah, y'all ain't on this. But XRP staged an 80% rally as a judge ruled the crypto is not a security in retail sales.
Meaning you can't pay for it?
So cryptocurrencies were soaring on Thursday, which was the 13th. It led by a monster surge of the asset associated with Ripple's lab, XRP. The rally for crypto, which was enjoying a double-digit % gain, came as a federal judge ruled that crypto isn't a security when sold to retail investors on a digital asset exchange. So we know what securities are. They're things that can be taxed because it means that, hey, I place a value on this, you purchased it from this price, and it can either go up and down, fluctuate. Regardless, it has some type of tangible asset associated with it. Okay. This has been a big topic in the crypto space, probably for about the last 3 or 4 years now, because XRP, which is the native token of Ripple, it cannot be deemed as a security in that sense. On another side, U.S. District Judge Annalise Torres said that Ripple's sales to sophisticated institutional investors would, however, qualify as an unregistered sale of investment contracts in violation of the federal law, representing only a partial win for those who have advocated that XRP isn't a security. And this has been big because XRP, they actually wanted to be able to use Ripple to make cross-border transactions in the banks. Because right now, if you want to send $100,000 from here over to Sweden,
you do a wire.
You got to do a wire, or you got to physically put that money on the plane, fly it over there, and get it. This can take how long?
I'd say at least a couple weeks to a month to do it. I mean, which I've never even heard of them doing physically like that. I've only heard of a wire.
Yeah, so a wire transfer. So the idea behind using Ripple let's not do that. Ripple as a cross-border payment is that you'll be able to send money across borders, and that's banks. Banks were interested in being able to have these cryptocurrencies, essentially be able to do that. You load up the token with whatever financial expectation, you send it over, and then the other party can receive it. So everyone's been sitting around waiting in the crypto world to see what happens with XRP, because this could potentially lead to other cryptos not being deemed securities at this time. I'm excited because I own some shares of XRP, and I just like to see my XRP go up. So
I feel like the problem though with it is that obviously when you're doing wires because of OFAC and whatnot, there's obviously certain countries that you cannot send money to. So, and also too, it has to be done within a bank setting. If you're doing it this way, then I would imagine, I could be wrong, but that anybody who has crypto or has the ability to get it can just transfer between the two?
You can, and that's where these regulations are coming from. Obviously, we've seen with Coinbase, they regulate how much money is getting sent. But also with that, you have ledgers where you can know exactly who's sending payment to where. While it is anonymous, it is a ledger that has your has your
the
actual
blockchain stuff?
has your actual address that you're sending the stuff to and from.
Okay.
So unlike money, where you could easily, launder money, and you don't know how it's getting laundered, U.S. federal government. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, with crypto, it makes transactions have an actual timestamp, so you know what's going on with it on the blockchain.
But can you reverse it once you send it? Like if you send money to Damien and he didn't want it, or you send it as a mistake, can you reverse it back?
The problem with that is, and people that are in the crypto world, they know this.
Yeah.
Like you make sure your address is in there correct. You make sure when you're accessing your crypto, your seed phrases is right. Because you make a mistake, you enter in something the wrong way. The ways that you might be able to get it back, but 9 times out of 10, that money's gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same thing with a wire. Once you wire it out, it's gone. So it's not
the same way with Cash App. You send somebody the wrong Cash App and it's like, hey, I messed up. Can you send it back to me?
Yeah, they would have to send it back themselves. But, I mean, it would be interesting to see if they took it that way. But I think it's more of the fact that not necessarily that the government doesn't want it. I don't know. I think it's another way to make banks obsolete.
Well, banks are becoming obsolete.
They are,
because I mean, ever since we went to this digital payment platforms, even the U.S. government is coming up with their own. They've been trying to come up with their own federal token. They've been trying to come up with their own way to have a cashless system, because I think when credit cards came about, it's like, hey, you can put everything on credit and charge it, because I think there'll be a sense for banks in one sense, but I mean, overall.
And I don't want to sound harsh or, as bad as it sounds, but once essentially the, what do you call it? The boomer population is gone, no longer with us, unfortunately. I don't see the Gen X or above is going to have a need for these banks anymore. Maybe some people in the Gen X generation, but millennials and up most definitely have no reason for a physical bank anymore.
And I don't think it's harsh, because think how many times you just keep cash on you. I rarely ever have cash.
Trying to do better with it, but
everything I try to do is through digital payments.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so difficult just keeping cash, because you got to go to a bank, you got to take the cash out, you got to do the transaction. And then plus, after COVID, I really don't like touching cash, because you don't know where cash has been. Sure. People sneeze on cash. Yep. Cash winds up in weird places. Bodily fluids get exchanged with cash. And it's like, don't really want to be touching it. But, we'll see what happens in the banking world in the next 5-10 years. We'll probably see, I can't even say that, because they're still building banks everywhere I go. So,
they are, which you don't really understand it.
There'll be a need for banks in a sense, but I think how they do business is definitely going to be a different scope. And then, sticking with the stock talk, Amazon. I got to do that because I'm team Amazon.
I am too, but for different reasons.
So Amazon just had their annual Amazon Prime Day. Do they do it twice a year or just once?
No, I think they do it. I want to say they do it twice a year. I think they do it like at the beginning of the year and then maybe middle or like around Christmas. They may do it more than that. I have no idea.
But so Amazon Prime Day just occurred July 11th and 12th, and they actually broke records to become the retailer's most successful to date. The 2-day event, which took place, like I said, July 11th and 12th, saw year-on-year spending shoot up by 6.1%. which is equal to about $12.7 billion in the U.S.
I didn't see anything on there that I needed.
I mean, me neither. But
and I did good on the last one.
Somebody was on there spending for $12.7 billion in 2 days.
People will do it.
That's crazy.
It's so easy. That's the thing. It's not just even the fact anymore that that the convenience of it is a lot of times they've got prices that are so much better than all of these other places. And then on top of that, you don't have to get out in your car. You don't have to go anywhere. It's right here delivered to you.
I mean, I enjoy it, especially during the pandemic. I think I would have, can't even say that, because I think a lot of this now is stemming from the pandemic, because people were just sitting at home. All they had access to was just to shop, and they were just shopping. And we actually did see Amazon shares skyrocketed to now where they are because of the amount of shopping that people were doing. Another company that unfortunately is, I think, hitting a wall at this point is Tesla. So Tesla just had their earnings that came out the other day, which saw Elon Musk's fortune slump 20.3 billion. Think about that.
And he's still
he lost $20.3 billion.
And he's still fine.
After Tesla warned it may have to keep cutting the price of its electric vehicles, sending shares tumbling. So Tesla's Austin-based company slid 9.7% to $262.90. It was the most that it had slid since April 20th, after the company warned of more hits to its already shrinking profitability. I think a lot of this is that they're no longer the new
shiny toy. Yeah,
they're not the new shiny toy on the block anymore. When they first came out, it was a novelty to have a Tesla. It was looked at like a status symbol. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I got a Tesla." And then, like, when people like got that snobbish, they're like, "Oh yeah," their head bobbles back and forth, like it was something to be hype about, sitting there charging up your car,
right, for 3 hours. Oh, I mean, congratulations!
There, but yeah, I think now that since so many other players are in this space now, they can't continue charging these outrageous prices. And plus, like, everywhere you look, you can see a Tesla on the road. You can sit there and do punch buggy with Teslas now, because it's like Ford, Honda, Tesla. Yeah. So this comes from months of markdowns have taken a toll on the automotive's gross. We saw a lot of their model, I don't even know what their models are, but they had to reduce the cost just to be more affordable, just to get more people in there, because like we said, once you have supply and demand, the supply is up so much. You gotta keep up with it. So obviously they're gonna have to keep slashing prices to be able to keep up with the current climate, and also with all these other companies that are coming out with EV models that might be more attractive, might be for a cheaper price point. And the big thing they keep talking about is this cyber truck that's supposed to be coming out.
Cyber truck.
Yeah, so you remember the cyber truck he had debuted a few years back. It was like a big box truck.
Like Prime.
Huh?
Like Optimus.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a transformer, but yeah, that was one of the big incentives for Tesla is this Cybertruck that's supposed to be coming out. So I think they're getting closer to having those come out in production.
Like a delivery truck?
No,
or like a Ford 50?
Like a Ford truck, but it's not a Ford. It looks like a box with wheels on it.
No.
But it looked like something that you would see in Mad Max, pretty much.
No, thank you.
But yeah, the Cybertruck's supposed to be launching here soon. Netflix. So they actually took a tumble also.
Not surprised.
The password sharing crackdown helped the streaming platform surprisingly at 5.9 million subscribers over the last 3 months, ending in June, which marked a staggering improvement from the same period a year ago when the company lost nearly 1 million subscribers, Netflix had said. So in all, Netflix said it boosted about 232 million subscribers, far outpacing its nearest rival, Disney Plus, which just reported shy of 158 million subscribers in May. Disney's another one of those companies that's just taking a beating on all platforms. Don't get me started on Disney. Parks are overrated.
Yeah.
They've actually even had to cut back on their film production of a lot of their Disney films that are supposed to be coming out here soon. And just the films that are in theaters aren't hitting like they thought they would. Indiana Jones, I just had a feeling that wasn't going to do too hot in theaters because, I mean, let's be honest. Who wants to go see Harrison Ford
run around
in Indiana Jones this day and age?
At his age.
But so yeah, they're gonna have to go back to the drawing boards. Anyway, meanwhile, Netflix free cash flow measure of how much money is available to the company after it pays for its operating gross grew about 1.5 billion to a total of 5 billion, the company said. The company, however, failed to meet expectations for revenue, which rose 2.7 from a year earlier to 8.2 billion, and the analysts expected 8.3 billion. So Netflix is in a weird spot right now. I thought personally that the password crackdown would hurt them more than what it did. But I mean, I guess people...
Well, I figured that would be the only reason that they've got these new followers and subscribers anyway, because people have had to pay for their own accounts now.
And that is why they're seeing additional growth.
It's not necessarily that people wanted to. It's just because they had to.
So this company here actually surprised me. And I can say I'm a Carvana user. We brought our Traverse from there.
I'm not buying anything else from them, though.
I mean, I would. It's just the Traverse was just... You look it up, like the Traverse, that's what it said about it. So it's not that the company itself, because overall the customer service, the whole buying process,
it is very easy.
I definitely liked what we encountered with the overall Carvana sales model. Just going on the app, being able to scroll through, find a vehicle you want, them drop it off, and it's just seamless. Like the price is the price. They're not any car dealers out there just trying to sell you on unnecessary things. But so Carvana announced a deal to reduce its debt by more than $1.2 billion on Wednesday. It actually skyrocketed the company's share price by 40%. I need you to keep in mind that Carvana was trading probably around $4.70 back in May.
Of this year?
Of this year.
Oh, wow.
What are we in?
July?
July, 2 months ago. It was around $4.63 a share. On Wednesday, the stock was at $55.80. Me personally, I thought they were going under. I was like, all right, their business model is great, but there's no way they could continue turning a profit. But when they came out and they said that they announced to make this this debt buyback, it catapulted the stock. So
do you have Carvana stock?
I unfortunately do not, because like I said, I thought they were going under.
Right, like, because I was trying to think if I did or not. I don't think I did.
I was looking there at the time, but then once they started going down like that, I mean, once you start getting down to under $5 a share, you're like, all right, this is about to be a penny stock, and that ain't really somewhere I wanted to park my money, especially knowing like, all right, what's the growth potential with it? But so more than 1,000% increase from the company's 4.63% share. So yeah, you can do the math. If you would have brought $40 worth of it, if you would have had 400 shares of it, yeah. So $350 million in new stock will be raised by Carvana to pay down a portion of its debt, with around $125 million coming from billionaire co-founder Ernest Garcia III, the company's CEO. The company, which had $6.4 billion in long-term debt at the end of June, believes that the debt will be reduced by the dealer's total debt and lower cash interest expenses in the near term. So, I mean, this might, not at those prices. I mean,
see, and that's the thing too. It's like places like Auto Trader, and I want to try that Drive Time. I haven't checked with them either. They've got better cars with lesser issues and whatnot for a less amount of money.
And I got to look and see, because I know I looked at a study a few weeks ago. It said that they're just not moving cars like they once were. No. A lot of these cars are still sitting on lots.
Yeah. Talking about Carvana or just in general?
In general, just all around. Like nobody's going out just talking about, I'm buying a new car just because of how expensive it is. Interest rates on vehicles are outrageous. I think it'd probably be anywhere between like a 7 to 10% interest rate. Who wants that on a car? But I mean, we'll see what comes from that here in the next few months. And then the last bit of information: Microsoft and Meta team up. Meta Platforms is releasing a commercial version of its open source AI model Llama, the company said Tuesday, giving startups and other businesses powerful, free of charge alternative to pricey proprietary models sold by OpenAI and Google. And as we keep saying, the buzzword for this year has been AI. All companies want to be associated with artificial intelligence at this point. So whether they're going to be coming up with their own models, or if they're going to be doing like we're seeing here with Meta and Microsoft teaming up together to be able to provide these services to businesses, that's definitely a major move. So the new version of model, called Llama 2, will be distributed by Microsoft through its Azure cloud service and will run on the Windows operating system, Meta said in a blog post, referring to Microsoft as its preferred partner for the release. So we're seeing other competitors such as Google and Amazon. They're coming out with their own like ChatGPT versions of AI. But I think we're just scratching the surface in terms of what artificial intelligence can do and will do. So I'm excited to see how this partnership is going to pan out. Both stocks were actually running up pretty nicely this week. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fare out for the next quarter of the year.
I can't say.
And that's it for you're good. That's it for our stock talk. Just like hitting the air horn.
I know. That's okay.
But that's all the information I had for this week. I think we covered a lot of information.
We had a decent amount.
Yeah, that's it. But you got anything else to add?
No, I don't really think so. Most everything else, like I said, we've covered. Make sure that you tune in the next time, though, because like I said, we take every 2 weeks, and then we'll be on vacation. So we might be coming live from, where are we going?
On vacation?
On vacation.
Don't tell people where I'm at.
Well, if you're going live,
stalkers or something,
they're gonna know.
It'd be too late by then. Somebody might pop up and be there and be like, "Hey, I want to be on live with y'all." I'm like, "Oh no."
What?
I don't know. I'm just talking crazy.
Okay. Anyway, make sure you tune in on the next one because we will be in a different place than where we are now.
We're changing locations
For a week. That's it. Or not moving anywhere. But anywho, that's about all I've got. So if you have anything that you would like for us to discuss or cover, make sure that you send us a message and let us know so we can get into it. Please make sure to go on our YouTube page. He dropped the link earlier. Like, follow, and subscribe. We do little, what do you call them? These little videos we've been doing, these little small segments.
Just segments?
Segments, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. We do different segments on different topics, and then we'll also try to come back to it when we start a new conversation time. And then obviously these conversation times will be on there as well. But if you have anything, let us know. If not, you guys have a good weekend.